Unitree just did it again, except this time, it might have flipped the entire humanoid robot market on its head. A fully functional bipedal humanoid robot equipped with AI, voice recognition, image detection, 26 joints, and the ability to pull off cartwheels. All for just $5,900. Yeah, you heard that right. That's not a typo. A real humanoid robot for under $6,000. And while we're still picking our jaws off the floor from that, something else wild happened. Over in Shanghai, a robot traffic cop was caught on camera actually directing real city traffic like it was born to do it. We'll get into that robot officer in just a bit, but trust me, what Unitree just dropped with the R1 is what has everyone talking. And once you see what it can do, and what it can't do just yet, you'll understand why this little 25-kilo machine is probably the most disruptive robot of the year. Welcome back, guys. Alfie here with two mind-blowing updates. Unitree's new $5,900 humanoid robot just shocks the world. And a robot traffic cop caught on duty in Shanghai. You're watching the AI Nexus, and as always, we're here to bring you every step of the future. Let's go. So, what exactly is the Unitree R1? In simple terms, it's a lightweight, research-focused humanoid robot released by Unitree Robotics in July 2025. But in reality, it's much more than that. Because while most humanoids on the market right now cost tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, the R1 enters the game with a price tag starting at just $5,900. Now, we've seen budget robots before, but not like this. The R1 has 26 degrees of freedom. That's 26 joints, arms, legs, torso, neck, giving it an impressively fluid and human-like motion. Most research-level robots with that kind of mobility cost at least triple the price. And even among high-end competitors, this level of balance, coordination, and control, especially in a sub-30 kg robot, is rare. But Unitree didn't just build a cheap robot that can wave and wobble. No, they built one that can cartwheel. Yes, it actually does cartwheels. They also showed off a clip of it shadowboxing. That's right, throwing jabs and ducking like a little humanoid boxer. And even though it's clearly not ready to step into the ring with Mike Tyson anytime soon, the fact that a sub-6K robot can move like that is impressive. But let's break this down a bit more. What exactly makes the R1 so different? First, its weight. The R1 is just 25 kg, which is significantly lighter than Unitree's earlier humanoids like the G1 and H1. That makes it not only more portable, but also safer and more agile. You don't need a team of engineers to move it around, and you're not going to lose a toe if it accidentally tips over. Second, its AI system is fully multimodal. That means it's designed to process both voice and image inputs. So theoretically, you could walk up to it, give it a verbal command, and it'll not only recognize your words, but also visually analyze the environment to act accordingly. We're talking object recognition, face tracking, gesture detection, all the bells and whistles you'd expect in much more expensive systems. And then there's the battery system. The R1 runs for about an hour on a single charge, and the battery is swappable. Not hot swappable, mind you, but easy to replace between sessions. That's a huge win for researchers and developers who need extended testing time without long wait periods. So, who exactly is the R1 for? Unitree is being pretty clear about this. It's aimed at researchers, developers, and enthusiasts. This isn't meant to be your home assistant or warehouse laborer, at least not yet. It's a development platform, a test bed for robotic motion, AI interaction, and bipedal control. Think of it as a canvas, and Unitree's giving it to you at a ridiculously low price. Because here's the real play. Unitree is lowering the barrier to entry into the humanoid robot space. Until now, only well-funded labs and corporations could afford bipedal AI platforms. But at under $6K, a small university team, or even a serious hobbyist, can now get hands-on with real embodied AI. That's why the R1 is such a big deal. It's not just what it does today, it's about who gets access. And when more people get access to something as powerful as humanoid robotics, the pace of innovation accelerates. Fast. Now let's be real. The R1 isn't perfect. It's not built for carrying loads. It's not waterproof. It doesn't have advanced hand dexterity, and you're not going to see it doing backflips or folding laundry anytime soon. But it's not supposed to do that. That's what Unitree's more expensive models like the H1 are for. The R1 is about learning, experimenting, testing, and iterating. It's a physical research tool that moves like a human and understands its surroundings. And now, for the first time, it's within reach of people who aren't backed by Fortune 500 budgets. And here's where it gets really interesting. Because while Unitree is making humanoids cheaper and more agile, other companies are starting to put humanoids into public service. Over in Shanghai, something pretty wild just happened. And yes, it was caught on camera. A video went viral this week showing what looks like a humanoid robot traffic cop directing traffic on the streets of Shanghai. Not on a test track, not inside a lab, but in real city traffic. And no, it wasn't someone in a suit. This was a fully mechanical humanoid, stationed right in the middle of the street, waving arms to control traffic flow with mechanical precision. Now, details are still a bit sparse. The clip, posted on X by @XRoboHub, has been reshared thousands of times already. In the footage, you can clearly see the robot standing on a platform, arms outstretched, moving in coordinated gestures to guide vehicles and pedestrians. It's not a stunt. It's not a marketing prop. Local authorities actually appear to be testing out robotic assistants for real-world urban infrastructure. And while we're not saying humanoids are about to replace every traffic officer in Shanghai, it's definitely a sign of how fast these machines are being integrated into human environments. Think about it. Less than a decade ago, humanoid robots were clumsy lab experiments. Today, they're managing live intersections in the heart of a major global city. And here's where things start to connect. Because while the robot traffic cop is likely a proprietary or custom-built system, it shows the direction we're heading. Humanoids functioning in everyday public life. And Unitree? With the R1, they've now opened the door for anyone to start building humanoids that could one day be doing that same job. What starts as a research demo could evolve into a real-world application. Today, it's cartwheels and voice commands. Tomorrow, it's logistics, elder care, teaching, or yes, even directing traffic during rush hour. So let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this actually mean? The R1 is significant not just because it's cheap or lightweight. It's significant because it's a signal that the humanoid revolution isn't just for the mega-rich tech giants anymore. If Unitree can offer a bipedal robot with real AI for $5,900 today, what happens in 5 years? What happens when it drops below $3,000, when it fits in a carry-on case? When your kid gets one for school? And remember, Unitree's been pushing hard this past year. The H1 model already made headlines for running faster than most humanoids on Earth. Then came the G1, the lab-friendly smaller version. Now the run-on, cheaper, lighter, still intelligent, still powerful. We're moving from industrial research to public deployment and then to personal ownership. That's the curve we're on. And Unitree just threw gasoline on that fire. And yes, it's easy to laugh at a little robot doing cartwheels and throwing fake punches. But this is how it always starts. First, it's a party trick, then it's a prototype, then it's a product, and then it's part of your life. If you've been waiting for the moment humanoid robots go mainstream, this might be it. Of course, this is still the beginning. We're not saying the R1 is going to take over your job or run your household just yet, but the fact that this level of tech is now available for the price of a decent laptop, that's no small thing. And don't forget that robot cop in Shanghai, because that's the other half of the equation, real-world testing. While the R1 is getting into the hands of developers, cities like Shanghai are already experimenting with integrating humanoids into actual civic infrastructure. What happens when those two trends meet? When hobbyists, students, and labs start designing robots for tasks like traffic control, caregiving, or frontline service? What happens when the affordability of the R1 meets the ambition of public-facing robots? We're about to find out. Because whether it's Unitree's R1 dazzling YouTube viewers with cartwheels, or a humanoid standing tall on a Shanghai intersection, the line between lab demo and real-world deployment is getting thinner every day. And here's the wildest part. Unitree's not done. Not by a long shot. They've already teased future iterations. More joints, better perception, smarter behavior. And if the R1 is any indication, they're going to keep pushing prices down and capabilities up. So if you thought this was the end of the story, It's not. It's just the beginning. Two robotics breakthroughs just dropped back to back, and honestly, it's hard to tell which is more insane. On one side, we've got a brand new humanoid robot from China called the L7. It's not just walking around or waving like most humanoids you've seen. No, this one is thinking, like actually observing, understanding, and then acting on its own. It's powered by a multimodal AI model that connects vision, language, and motion all in real time. We're watching it interpret verbal commands and carry them out with eerie smoothness. And the internet is collectively asking, wait, is this even real? And on the other side, Unitree just released what might be one of the most ambitious robotic arms we've ever seen. A fully open-source 8-axis bionic arm that moves like a living thing. With a completely new kind of joint module that combines drive, sensing, and control in a single lightweight unit, this isn't just another cool-looking prototype. It's the foundation of a revolution in robotic dexterity, and they're giving it away. Let's start with Robot Era's L7. Because this thing, it's a glimpse into what happens when AI gets a body, and that body can move. So picture this, you're in a lab in China. A sleek humanoid robot standing at about 5'7" is facing a table full of random objects. You casually say, "Move the red cup next to the book." The robot tilts its head slightly, scans the scene, lifts its hand, and just does it. No hesitation, no scripted movements. It moves with intent, accuracy, and precision that feels honestly more human than robotic. That's the L7. And what makes it scary good isn't just the physical hardware, it's the mind running it. At the core of this robot is something called ERA42. It's a vision-language action model, which means it doesn't just hear what you say or see what's in front of it, it understands both, then plans how to act. This is the key shift. We're moving away from robots that follow pre-programmed instructions and into robots that perceive, interpret, and make decisions based on context, just like we do. L7 listens to your words, watches your gestures, identifies the objects around it, understands spatial relationships, and then figures out how to interact with the world. And the speed at which it's doing all of that? That's what's freaking people out, because there's no pause, no buffering, no, wait, let me think. It looks at the task, thinks about it like a person would, and then acts with near-human flow. You ask it to adjust a glass that's slightly off-center, and it does it with the kind of finesse that used to take expensive motion capture rigs and off-screen puppeteers. This is all autonomous. This is all real-time. Now don't get me wrong, the L7's physical build is impressive too. The height and proportions give it a natural presence, but it's the balance and dexterity that really sell it. The joints move cleanly, the hands are fine-tuned, and it's all synchronized with the AI's real-world understanding, so the whole system operates like one unified organism. And that word, organism, isn't just a stretch. Because what we're seeing with L7 feels alive, not in a biological sense, but in how it behaves. There's an intentionality behind its actions. It's no longer robot obeys code, it's robot understands situation. That shift changes everything. What we're looking at isn't just a demo anymore. It's the early stages of embodiment, of robotic systems that can learn, reason, and adapt within the physical world. And here's where things get even more interesting. Because just as the software side of robotics is hitting a new level of cognition, the hardware side is about to explode thanks to what Unitree just released. This company just made the boldest move in the robotics space all year. They've launched a fully self-developed robotic joint system, paired with a lightweight, high-torque, 8-axis robotic arm. But that's just the beginning. They're open-sourcing the entire thing. Yes, you heard that right. Every core component, every mechanical design, every platform, they're giving it away for anyone to use, to build on, to scale, to commercialize. This isn't a dev kit. It's a full foundation for embodied AI. Now let's talk about why this is such a big deal. Most robotic arms operate with 6 or 7 axes of motion. That's already enough to give them near-human flexibility in many scenarios. But Unitree didn't stop there. They went with 8. And this extra degree of freedom changes everything. It allows the arm to move around obstacles in ways that more traditional arms can't. It can adjust posture dynamically. It can position its end effector, the hand, tool, or sensor, exactly where it needs to be without compromising on stability or speed. And it's not just the movement that's impressive, it's how it moves. The new joint module Unitree developed is a game changer. Instead of separating the motor, the sensors, and the controller into different parts, they've fused everything into one compact unit. So every joint in the arm doesn't just move, it thinks, it senses, it adapts. This makes the arm incredibly responsive. It can make micro adjustments on the fly. If it senses unexpected resistance, it compensates. If it detects vibration or instability, it corrects. It's smooth, quiet, and freakishly precise. And remember, this isn't hidden behind patents or locked inside a corporate black box. It's open, which means developers, researchers, startups, and even students can take this technology and run with it. Build their own robots, create new use cases, accelerate the pace of embodied AI in ways we've never seen before. Now let's bring this full circle, because this is where things get truly wild. Imagine the L7 Humanoid, powered by the ERA42 Vision Language Action Brain, integrated with hardware like Unitree's 8-axis robotic arm. A robot that can see, understand, and reason, now paired with limbs that can move with the fluidity and intelligence of a human body. That's not hypothetical. That's the direction this is going. The gap between robotic intelligence and robotic movement has always been the bottleneck. You either had smart robots that couldn't move well, or agile robots that didn't understand the world. But right now, in real time, both ends of the spectrum are being solved. We're finally merging cognition and control, thought and action. And when you watch the footage of the L7 moving objects, adjusting its hands, reacting to people in the room, it's hard not to feel like we've crossed into a new chapter. There's something uncanny about it, not in the creepy, uncanny valley sense, more in the way that it starts to challenge what you consider uniquely human. Because here's the question everyone's quietly asking after watching these demos. If a robot can see what we see, understand what we say, move like we do, and react with this level of awareness, what's left that only humans can do? Of course, we're not all the way there yet. These systems still rely on controlled environments. They're not walking into chaotic real-world situations and improvising their way out of them just yet. But the foundation is here, and the progress is exponential. The L7 is already operating at a level that would have seemed like a hoax just a few years ago. Unitree's hardware is opening the doors for innovation on a scale we haven't had access to before. And when you put those two together, we're staring down a future that feels like it's rushing toward us faster than anyone expected. So yeah, we might have gone too far. Or maybe this is exactly how far we needed to go to figure out what robots are really capable of. Because at this point, robots aren't just tools. They're becoming partners, assistants, teammates, embodied minds capable of adapting to our world, not just programmed to exist in it. And if this is what July 2025 looks like, just imagine what December's going to bring. This isn't the end of the robotics race. It's the ignition point. And you better believe we'll be here for every impossible moment to come.